Thank you for coming again. Would anyone like some water? We've got water. Water again? Okay. Okay, so before I begin talking today, I thought we'd just do a little short pranayama to help us like center. So find a comfortable seat. And just make sure your spine is nice and tall. Roll your shoulders up, back and down a few times. And for the pranayama, we'll bring our hands into a mudra. So just turn your palms up and place your thumb on top of your forefinger. And this mudra, it has lots of names depending on the lineage. I like to call it wisdom mudra. It basically symbolizes the thumb is your highest self, and this is your lowest self, and the thumb is on top. That's good. Okay, so we'll close our eyes. And we'll do straw breathing. We'll do about 6 rounds, nothing too intense. So the inhale is with the nose, and the exhale is with the lips as if you're blowing out of a straw. So let's begin. Inhaling with your nose, taking a nice full deep breath, maybe the biggest breath that you've breathed all day. Hold it, pause, and then slowly exhale through the lips. All the way out, all the way out. Pull your belly in. Yeah. Inhale, 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 inhale. Pause your breath. Release the navel. Exhale, pull the belly in and up as you push the breath all the way out. Inhale. Exhale. Two more, inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. And just relax. And then we'll open the eyes. Welcome to today's meditation circle, Tuesday the 12th of September 2023. I wrote it in my book. So this month we are concentrating on Buddhism. And this week I promised to introduce the 4 Noble Truths. So they are the fundamentals of Buddhism, the tenets, the kind of foundation. And from here, Buddhism builds. But the 4 Noble Truths, when you first introduce them, you might think, well, that's a bit negative, but it's not negative, and I'll explain why. So the first Noble Truth is suffering exists. Life is full of suffering. The second Noble Truth is there is a reason for suffering. The third Noble Truth is there is an end to suffering. And the fourth Noble Truth is there is a reason and a way to end your suffering. So it's all about suffering. And I don't know if you remember last week, I read that passage from the book and it was all about suffering. So some people say, well, Buddhism's really negative, but it's not negative, it's just pragmatic and realistic. So Buddhism doesn't neglect pleasure, it doesn't neglect pleasure at all. In fact, most Buddhists have got a cracking sense of humor. But they just say that pleasure is fleeting, it's not forever. And what they mean by that is pleasure is mostly linked to sense gratification, or you might think of it like instant gratification. So things that you can seek through touch, taste, eyes, you know, that kind of thing. So I think it's really good to take these ancient principles and bring them into the modern day world, otherwise they don't really apply to us. So can anyone think of a sense gratification that might feel good for like a day or a minute, and then afterwards, you know, that goes away and you end up thinking, what now? Fast food. Fast food, yeah, exactly. Fast food. Yeah, fast food, you have it, it tastes good, especially on a Sunday night. And then the next day you think, oh no, did I eat that? I'm gonna have to go back to yoga now. One thing that pops to my mind is Instagram. So you know how Instagram have turned off, you're not allowed to see how many likes someone has, that you can remove how many likes you've got. So people used to, do you know that?
I think it's that you can still keep it on though, right?
Yeah, it's an option. But I think that the idea was that, yeah, about comparing, but also like every time you get a like a tick, it's like an instant gratification, like you get a hit of dopamine. Oh, like, because there's no unlike button. So it's just like. And then there were studies showing that people were getting such a hit of dopamine, and the higher you go on dopamine, it's just like down. So you get addicted to the app. And that's one that runs to my mind. Yeah, like that hit from a like, which is just ridiculous, really, isn't it? Because it's definitely not forever. Or things like, you know, when you go on like an amazing holiday and you have loads of fun and you're like, yeah, and then you come home and you're like, oh, like that kind of thing. So the Buddhism doesn't say that these things are bad. It just says you shouldn't attach all your focus on those things. Like it suggests that you should place the, you know, maybe like 90% of your focus on things that are real and lasting. And we all know what those things are. They are qualities of the heart. And if you have a faith or a religion, it might be God, Brahma, Buddha, that kind of thing. And then from here, so you Four Noble Truths, you're like, okay, suffering exists, but there is a way out of suffering, and I can live with less suffering. What's that? And then that's the the noble path. So there's 8 tenets, and it's like an ethical framework to help you live with less suffering. And I can teach that next week. But I guess the teaching for this week is, I think it's really cool to have an experiment with yourself and to be like, okay, for the next week, I'm going to see when I chase sense gratification or when I chase instant gratification. And just there's nothing wrong with it. You just observe, you're like, oh my God, I'm in sense gratification or I'm in instant gratification. And then also then have an experiment with yourself. Oh, I'm focusing on qualities of the heart. Like, I don't know. It's easy when you've got a baby because they make you live in your heart, don't they? So you can be like, oh, my baby, that's like really living in your heart. Because babies are just pure. Or it might be a moment when you like give something to someone else without wanting anything in return or that kind of thing. And then maybe if you're up for it, just decide which one you do more of and what you need to work on. One thing that I'm trying to do at the moment is like really just notice everything. Like even if it's really negative and bad, just be like, that's not good. Instead of shutting myself off, so just becoming aware of all your tendencies and behaviors. And then next week we can look at the next part of Buddhism, which is very similar to the ethical framework of yoga. And that's all you need to know this week. So we're going to do the same mantra that we did last week, the Tara mantra. We're going to do the mindfulness of breathing, followed by the mantra. I'm just going to get my stopwatch. We're going to try and do the mantra for a bit longer because I think you all liked it last week. And then if we have time, we'll move into a loving kindness meditation, which is a Buddhist meditation. So find a comfortable seat. Kelly, I don't know if you fancy it, but the blocks, if they face the other way, they're usually a bit more comfortable. Yeah, but you do whatever you think today. Yeah, and just one last thing that's come to mind. When you kind of realize that suffering is part of life, you can find beauty in that too. So bring your hands onto your knees, or you can have them in Zen Mudra, which is one hand on top of the other. Just make sure these elbows have a tendency to stick out. Let them really relax in because that will relax your shoulders down. And then come up onto the sitting bones, extend the spine. And the chin is parallel to the floor, yet we recommend just tucking it in a teeny tiny bit to the back of the neck and get a teeny tiny bit longer. We begin with the body scan. So just remember that your body is your friend. And we're not here to suffer in meditation. That happens in life. So if you need to make any movements, just to make your body more comfortable, do that now. And if you need to move throughout the meditation, observe the desire to move. See if that desire to move leads you. But if the desire to move doesn't lead you, maybe you need to move, if that makes sense. So we're trying not to fidget, but we're trying to honor the real need for movement. Okay, so you can just say hello to your body on this day. Hello, body. How are you? What's been going on in your body this week? And then we'll do a body scan. So we just bring our attention to the crown of the head. And imagine bathing the crown of your head in a really soft, white, loving light. A bit like the way a mother touches her baby. Tender, full of love. And then let that wave of relaxation move down through the eyes. And notice if you're holding tension around the eyes. Sometimes we squint our eyes closed. Try not to do that. Try to relax the eyes. And eyeballs, eyes just very gently lifted up towards the third eye, but not in a forceful way, a gentle way. And then notice if the face is relaxed, and could you relax it any more? Take it to the tongue. So very often the tongue is up at the top of the mouth. Then you relax your tongue so it falls to the bottom of the mouth. And as you do this, the jaw seems to get heavier. And the mouth seems to get wider, like the teeth seem to broaden. And just keep loving your body, sending it good, healing, loving vibes, and relax your shoulders. And your shoulders. Relax your arms and your hands. And then let this wave of relaxation penetrate the spine. And while you keep the spine nice and straight, just try and bring a sense of relaxation to that area. Vertical line of energy. And then the organs. Can you relax your organs? Hello, heart. Thank you for keeping me alive. You can relax now. Slow down. Hello, kidneys, liver, digestive system, gallbladder. You can relax now. Just let your tummy relax. No tension in the tummy, no pulling the tummy in. And let the legs relax, the knees, the feet. And just say to your body, there's a whole field of moving energy. Body, relax now. Body, I love and respect you. You can relax now. Body. And then revisualize those two heavy bags that you've been carrying around. In the right hand, there is a bag with the letters F, U, T, U, R, E written on it. And on the left hand, in the left hand, there is a bag with the letters P, A, S, T written on it. And those two bags symbolize your future and your past. And they are heavy, and you've been carrying them all your life. And it's time to put them down. They don't really exist. The future is not here yet, and the past is gone. All you can do is learn, grow, and place your attention on the qualities of the heart, of the Buddha. So if you really care about your future, place your attention on the present moment, where your future is being named. And it's in the present moment that you will be able to observe yourself looking for sense gratification, instant gratification, or living in a more meaningful manner. And you never have to reprimand yourself or feel guilty or be angry. You just observe, know that you are in the present moment, accept, and breathe. So with the bags firmly on the floor now, the shoulders feel incredibly more relaxed. And the mind starts asking, well, what can I do now? Because the mind is like a monkey. The monkeys do not sit still. So we have to give the monkey mind something to concentrate on. We try and get it to move in a more linear and disciplined way. So to begin with, our point of focus will be the breath. So just like we did last week, we'll do a mindfulness and breathing technique. We will count the breath from 1 to 10, and we'll count the exhale. We'll do that 3 times. And then we will count the breath from 1 to 10 on the inhale. And we'll do that 3 times. Just sitting up nice and tall. You could even say to your mind, okay, mind, we're going to focus on the breath now. And let's begin. So inhaling and exhaling for 1. Inhaling and exhaling for 2. Inhaling and exhaling for 3. Inhaling, exhaling for 4. Inhaling, exhaling for 5. Inhaling, exhaling for 6. Inhaling, exhaling for 7. Inhaling, exhaling for 8. Inhaling. Exhaling for 9. Inhaling. And exhaling for 10. Keep going. Do 2 more rounds. Step breath wherever you are. Check your mind. Is it still here in the present moment? Or has it gone somewhere else? And don't worry if it has gone somewhere else. Just bring it back. Okay, let's count the inhalation now. 1 to 10. 3 times. Let's begin. Inhaling. 1. Exhaling. Inhaling. 2. Exhaling. Inhaling. 3. Exhaling. Inhaling. 4. Exhaling. Inhaling. 5. Exhaling. Inhaling. 6. Exhaling. Inhaling. 7. Exhaling. Inhaling. 8. Exhaling. Inhaling. 9. Exhaling. Inhaling. 10. And exhaling. So do that 2 more times on your own. Use your super focus. stop. A big part of this practice is just observing. Are you here? Did you manage to stay on the breath? Did you go off to the past or the future? Accepting everything and bringing your attention back onto the body, into the present moment. So we'll begin our mantra now. Mantra is a Sanskrit word. And it's made of two root words, man, itra. Man is mind, and tra means vehicle. So a mantra is a vehicle for the mind. It's the same mantra as last week. It's Om Tara Tutara Ture Swaha. So when you're ready, we'll take an inhale. We'll take an exhale. Om Tara Tutare Ture Swaha. 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 Just receive the blessing of the Tara mantra. Mara is the mother of all mothers, of universal love, compassion, longevity, prosperity. A blessing wash over you. We'll move into our period of silence. Your mind starts running off to the past and the future. You can just bring it back. Could decide to count the breath again if the mind gets too noisy. You could observe the sensations around the nostrils, skin. You could even repeat the mantra. Keep your eyes slightly uplifted to the point between the eyebrows. Nothing to achieve. Nothing to try and maintain. Gratification is not sense gratification. You're trying to turn your senses inside. It's definitely not instant gratification either. It's commitment, discipline, sometimes being uncomfortable. Just touching the space inside of us, that is forever. That is eternal. Before we close the meditation, just bring your awareness to the qualities of your heart. Know that you have a lot of kindness in there. Kindness for yourself. There's a lot of compassion for yourself, for others. And so, as we move into the weekend, ask those qualities to shine through more deeply. Pleasure, kindness, qualities of the heart, always. They will become suffering. Taking a moment to maybe stretch out the legs. Feel it back. I'll make a cookie and some water. I was going to make tea, but I forgot my tea bags. I think a cookie. Yeah, you have nuts. Can we thank you with this? Thank you. Banana. And today it was avenas, nueces, and cinnamon. Okay, so before the end, did anyone want to share anything about how they found it today, or if the Four Noble Truths spoke to them in any way, or if the sense gratification, just does anyone want to share anything basically about today?
Like the suffering all the time and because then it's also like every time then you are suffering in some point you're like, okay, something is happening and I'm learning something and I'm gonna come out of it anyway. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Everything runs in cycles.
And then it's valid to feel that way, sometimes people are like toxic positivity, like everything has its good side. No, sometimes it just sucks, and it's okay that it sucks.
Yeah, I really love that point. And toxic positivity is a bit of like an epidemic, but I feel like suffering really has a place, and you kind of, if you get into this state of like, I'm never going to suffer, and you just keep yourself really busy and throw suffering under the carpet, I feel like it manifests in like disease or depression or something like at a later date. So that's definitely like, I just often tell myself, don't make yourself busy so you can't feel. Yeah.
Me think a little bit about something that they told me in psychotherapy, which was more about how pain is unavoidable. It's part of life, right? Like el dolor, no? But suffering is more when you resist. It's like when you're not accepting what you give them to you, right? Like when you're not accepting that pain and you kind of trying to find a way out or to struggling against whatever happened to you or something. So kind of there's this difference between pain and suffering.
Yeah, like that's lovely, and yeah, and it's probably just the words that they're using, because I feel like how you just explained it was so good. It's like pain, or in Buddhism they say suffering is unavoidable.
It's part of life.
Yeah, but if you want to make it worse, don't accept it, that kind of thing. Yeah, like resist it, push it away. Yeah,
Suffering pain to make it disappear.
Yeah,
accepting that, what has happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. Do you feel like, just because I've been thinking about this recently, do you feel like we have to be ready to accept pain or suffering? Like, do you think it's like a level of maturity is required, or do you think some people are just ready to accept that?
I don't know if I would say ready, but like
Aware, yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like some people are just like, they don't even notice that they're suffering or in pain.
Okay.
And they just keep going, and then like this keep going, sometimes it's like resisting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe if you just become more aware of your pain, then it's also easier to let the pain be.
Yeah.
I do think it requires some personal work.
Yeah.
Maybe for some of us it can be more difficult than others.
Yeah.
I think so. Maybe if when you're more like when you try to control things, or you try to like fight for things, and then you want things to be a certain way, and when they're not, maybe it's more difficult to accept. Some other people that are more like, going with whatever comes the way. So I think there's also personalities that can have more difficulties.
Yeah. Yes. Have you ever in your experience felt that moment where you just couldn't sit with yourself? Couldn't sit with yourself. Like you didn't want to be in your skin. You couldn't sit down. You couldn't be still. Like you just couldn't face things. Yeah. 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 And I think what this work has shown to me is that's okay. And like, just to try and learn that, sit with it. You've got to go through it, haven't you? Yeah. And then ultimately, what you said about There's an end to suffering, and that's nice. When you kind of go through those stages, afterwards you're like, oh, this whole thing, like, this is easy, like, yeah, like, I can do that again. Yeah, it makes you feel really strong. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It can be empowering afterwards.
Yeah.
Once you've been able to face that kind of thing. Yeah.
And then you find yourself getting to the stage where you think, I'm not that scared of life, of something going wrong, because, well, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is probably that you're going to die or your loved ones are going to die, and that's going to happen anyway. So let's just go for this. And then ultimately you become happier, right? Is that not what it's saying at the end? So, you know, you accept the suffering, you go through it, and then you're like, oh, well, life is better because I can take it. That kind of thing. I'm stronger. I can notice beautiful things, even when they're not perfect. Anyway. Does anyone want to add anything else?
Life is like something here. Something.
Yeah.
Happy, suffering.
Happy. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like a heart rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, if it's always the same, then it's not slow.
Yeah.
But it's like,
So we're all ready for a really rainy, cold winter. Talking of suffering. Okay, I'm just gonna stop.
we can't do this.
Yeah.